So the bells are ringing. We finally hear the bells. They've surrendered. They throw down their swords. They're like, we're fucking scared shitless. We know that there's nothing we can do. We are not going to fight for Queen Cersei to the last man, because she was like, they'll fight to the last man. And
it's like the first man.
And they're like, nope, I don't really want to do this. Like, we don't want to do this. Like, and so Daenerys has won. Daenerys has won. And she's sitting there. There's a lot of emotions. There was great acting on her face. I mean, she was just like really... Do we have a slide for that, Jay? There we go. Yeah.
It's hers. The Iron Throne is hers. All this shit. All the shit that she's gone through. This is the moment she's been waiting for.
Right. And this is like the Ten of Swords, dude. This is like the Ten of Swords.
Which one's the 10?
The
page?
The guy with all the fucking knives in his back, like all the sacrifices that she had to make to get here.
She's had a rough road getting here. She's finally here, but it's like cost her everything. Has set a moral code that she has, and her first instinct is always to go crazy, but she has surrounded herself with people like advisors who tell her like, don't do that shit, and even though that was the harder route, it would have been way easier to just butcher everybody along the way. Yeah. She has gone the harder route and tried to be a good person and make all this shit happen. And now she's won.
She won.
It's over.
It's done.
And for absolutely no reason whatsoever.
And then because she didn't get...
Because Jon Snow didn't fucking take her down.
She didn't get that.
She's like, fuck these fools.
So she's like, you know what? I don't really want it. I hate it. You know, we were talking about with like the Suit of Swords, where it's like, oh, you think you want something and you pursue it and you get it, and then you realize like, this is not making me happy, and this is not what I wanted, and this sucks. And it's like the sacrifices you've made maybe are not worth what you've been granted.
It's like she listened to other people too. Like, she's becoming what all these assholes said she was going to be.
Yeah.
You know, like
the self-fulfilling prophecy.
She let the water in the boat. Yeah.
And it's just like she's snapped. Now she's gone mad queen because we need Jon Snow on the throne, because us as an audience really wants Jon fucking Snow on the throne. We need to make Dany go crazy to get her out of the way and make her a villain so that Jon Snow can be the cool guy.
Yeah.
Even though we've built up this character Daenerys for 8 seasons as someone who's like really trying their best to be a quote unquote good ruler.
She wants to do good.
You know, who like cares about people. Like, I just don't think that like when she just started slaughtering everyone and genociding, I was just like, that's never been her.
Right.
But I mean, like, she can be cruel and she can be hard and she can like make some fucked up decisions. But like, she's never been for just like genocide for no reason.
Like at this,
like, you know, I just feel like, and this is my own personal problem bullshit, you know, I realize that, but as a young dragon queen who has herself taken Daenerys as a totem and who has been very empowered by this character, to see this is the eventuality of her arc is just sucks. It's disappointing. It's like just such a bummer, and it makes me angry. And now that she's angry, now I'm angry. And I know if I'm angry, there's a lot of other dragon queens that are angry. And it's just like, and it's bad dragon queen representation. It's bad for all of us.
The
like,
worst.
And the thing is I love a heel turn. I love a good heel turn. Okay, I'm here for a heel turn. If you want to do Daenerys as the Mad Queen, I'm for it. Like, do it, but do it in a fucking cool, like, slow burn descent into madness. Like, for example, the Dark Phoenix in the comic books. You know, you have Jean. She has a lot of power. She becomes the Phoenix. You know, like Dany has a dragon. These are both fiery energy sources that are like incomprehensible to mortal men. And over the course of like 4 years, there's all this shit that goes on. And at first, you know, she ends up saving the universe with her powers, only later to be manipulated and fucked with to such a point that she has a psychotic fucking break, like just has a mental breakdown when she realized the extent of the manipulations and horrible things that have been going on to her. And then she turns Dark Phoenix, you know, and you've seen it. I mean, you've been reading it for 4 years. You've been watching this, you know, unfold. It's a slow burn. But then when it catches and when it sparks, it's like, fuck, it's an explosion. And like, Fox in the new movie, you know, like you were saying, it's a 3-part story. You know, the Phoenix Saga is like a 3-part thing. And in the 3rd part, you get the Dark Phoenix. You don't go straight to Dark Phoenix. And so with like the Fox movies, they're going straight to Dark Phoenix. You know, it's just like there's no her just being a Phoenix, her doing good things with it, her having to deal with having the powers of a god, and then eventually being corrupted by it, and blah, 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 because she's pushed to a point where she doesn't even give a fuck anymore. You know, it's like, it's so... They're doing the same thing, you know, here, where it's just like, hey, I would have loved to have seen Daenerys' descent into madness if it had been worked into the show over more than 2 episodes. 2 episodes at the end, she's been built up as as not this.
And when you do it right, people like will be on your side. Like if they did it right, when she turns into an asshole, if they would have said that like and given her motivation and all that. Besides Jon Snow, besides
that fucking dumb shit.
If you give her motivation behind it, when she's like, fuck it, like they're like, let's go, like I.
Or she's been duplicitous and been hiding it, you know, so well, and just like. And then you see things and you think, oh, fuck, when she said this, it really meant this. And like, da-da-da-da-da. And there's better ways to do this.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement that universally, the internet has decided that this doesn't work, that this hasn't worked. Although, yes, there are plenty of clues and indications earlier in the series that they may possibly been leading to this. So my question is, do you think George R. R. Martin was possibly implying that this is the direction that it could have gone?
I don't know. If George R. R. Martin made her a Mad Queen, that would be cool because he'd do it in a cool way. It wouldn't be stupid like this. And I'm down. If he wants to go that route, I'm down for it. I don't think it's a terrible route to go. That's a great one way you can go with her story. One of many ways you could go with her story. But yeah, he wouldn't do it in a stupid ass way like this.
Yeah, I think one of the problems is that she sort of feels like a Luke Skywalker type of archetype when the story starts happening.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you put all your hopes that she's going to be the one that defeats the Empire, right? It's building up to that. The music implies that. Remember when we did Epic History of the Targaryens? Like, the Targaryen music is very, like, it implies she's going to save the world here.
Yeah.
I think this is the biggest thing I've ever seen in a show not work. It just sabotages the entire thing.
I was so confused. I was like, what? Because that's the thing is, like, I identify with Daenerys. And if I was in this situation, yeah, I'd be really fucking sad and bummed out at the end of it.
In my mind, I was just picturing, last night, I was picturing a bunch of, like, girls at parties, all stuff dressed up, like, like with drinking, like, staring, like, mouth open, like, what?
I got so mad that I had to burn stuff. I burned my sage. I sage smudged myself. I put smoke all around myself, sage smoke, to like get myself to be less mad. I drank vinegar water. I lit a candle, a CBD candle. I lit some incense. I was just like, I just had to burn things and it's weird how it works through you. You know, it's like, oh, this is a powerful archetype you're working with, and you're turning them into crazy women instead of like showing something that's, you know, interesting and has something interesting to say about the human condition. Like, instead of making her just, I didn't get the D, so I went nuts and killed everybody, and I genocided hundreds of thousands of people.
No one likes me,
and it's in my blood. I'm crazy. I'm crazy. It's in my blood. It's in my blood. You know, it's like, oh, so we're gonna reinforce that stereotype after this person has been trying to be personally accountable for her shit this whole fucking time. Like, I could see her maybe being upset and fucking some shit up and destroying the Red Keep or something and saying, I'm destroying the idea of the Iron Throne. Yeah. And I'm getting rid of, like, that's how I break the wheel. Like, that's how I break the wheel, is I get rid of the Iron Throne, I destroy the Red Keep, and I say, everyone goes back to their own little fucking kingdoms.
Jon Snow, you're king of the North.
I'll be king of this, you'll be king of that, you know?
That's what we were hoping for her to create a whole new world with a whole new political system, possibly.
Right, and I mean, that's still fucked up. I mean, people are still going to get hurt, and you're still going to have a war, and there's still going to be shit, but, like, just senseless atrocity just for kicks, just because you're mad? Because you won? What? And what does she plan to do now? Is she gonna? I mean, she gonna go back to Dragonstone and rule from there? I mean, everyone's gonna hate her.
Okay, what? Why? Yeah, what's this conversation gonna be?
Like, what do you do? Okay, whatever. All right, so let's keep going with our slides here. Let's go back to our slides.
Show is beautifully shot, though.
So it's beautiful. Like I said, if I didn't know anything about these characters and haven't been emotionally invested in them for 8 years, I would be like, oh man, this show's sick. So yeah, she's just going around fucking tearing it down.
I totally believed while I was watching it that that was a dragon destroying a city.
Absolutely.
I was engaged in that aspect.
It was so scary. It was so, I mean, kudos to them. I mean, it was amazing the way they did it. I love that Arya was on the ground and that she had to fucking, deal with all this nonsense. like Cloverfield style. I like that they did the Cloverfield style, like being on the ground while a city is being destroyed by a monster. You know, there was a medieval city being destroyed by a dragon. I mean, that's fucking... I've wanted to see that my whole life. Who hasn't? You know, it was really cool.
But then again, think from the other perspective. If they're showing Daenerys, she's literally flying down every single street, just killing women and children.
Just mowing them down.
And then the next street, and then the next street.
Yeah. Yeah, right? It's like, again, it's like I identify with Daenerys. I identify with Jean Grey. I've got not one, but two of my totems popping the fuck off and burning everything down.
I can't imagine how
And I'm
bummed.
like... Am I gonna do that? Am I next? You know.
But the thing about Daenerys is she was a good-hearted person. Like you felt like she had a good soul this whole time.
Yeah, I mean,
it just feels like such a betrayal.
She's spicy. She's intense, but I've never seen her be just a straight-up murderer. Like unless somebody everybody that she fucked with like had it coming. You know?
I mean, had it coming. According to her, you don't bend the knee, you die. Sure.
Well.
Headline of USA Today this morning was Game of Thrones burns itself to the ground.
Yeah. I wonder what the producers...
How they feel right now?
Yeah.
Oh, they got to be feeling it, sensing it by now.
Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they know.
But Twitter's like a flame.
Yeah, but I did see the showrunners a few seasons back say we don't look on social media anymore because it's too upsetting.
They shouldn't. Yeah.
They
need to. They shouldn't, yeah.
Which I feel bad for them in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm still processing it too, and like, it's also like, we'll see what happens in our final episode. I'll fucking watch it. I'm not excited about it.
I'm interested.
It's like, all right.
I'm interested for sure.
How are you gonna ruin this worse? You know, like, how can we get any worse? We'll find out, because I'm sure they won't disappoint me. Oh my god, I can't.
The thing about the show is that yes, it's had shocking moments. Mm-hmm. Like there was in the first season, Ned Stark died in the end of the first season, and that was like shocking, and it was upsetting to a lot of people. They're like, "Fuck this show." People were angry, but other people were like intrigued because what that said is it went against what you expected from normal TV shows.
Subverted your expectations.
Right? It subverted your expectations, but it also told you this is a more realistic world. This is not a TV show world.
Yeah.
Right. Nobody's safe, but the good characters have to also make smart decisions.
Yeah.
Right. They have to play within the rules. They have to play the Game of Thrones.
Well, they had a fantasy. They have a fantasy setting, a fantasy backdrop, but the way they play it is absolutely how power games.
Yes, laws of power.
The laws of power and how this works in real life. So it's played real. You know, it's a fantasy world played real. And it's complicated. And it's the Game of Thrones is pretty intense, and it's going on right now, and it's been going on for thousands of years, and it's going to continue to go on for a while. And the way that they're portraying it is just, it went from a realistic portrayal into a cartoonish kind of nihilistic portrayal where it's just like, this isn't, you know, darkness isn't like reality, you know. It's like in reality, yeah, good people get fucked over. I don't know.
And it's only Jon Snow now. Jon Snow is the only like good guy left.
Right,
everybody else turned
good guy. And we use that term. Yes.
Everybody else turned into a shithead.
Whose bad decisions have directly led to all of this.
Everybody else is a shithead now.
Shitty decisions have directly led to all of this, you know? I don't get it. And there's so many cool things we could say, you know, like we had a chance to maybe humanize Cersei against the Night King. That would have been cool. I would have liked to see, as much as I love seeing a heel turn, I love a villain who redeems themselves. Sure. That's even better.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Tony Stark saved the day.
He did.
I'm just going to hang on to that. I'm just going to hang on to Tony.
Steve Rogers married.
He got it.
Agent Carter.
He fucking got it. You know, that was good. I feel good about that. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Peter Parker's back. Feel good about that.
We should go see it again as a palate cleanser.
I know. It's like, this is like how you have a 10-year story arc and like fucking do some cool stuff with it and like, you know?
Well.
This is the best ending we can hope for at this point. 7 hells. I had a terrible dream, Cat.
Yeah.
Da, 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 you know?
I saw one that said, Cat said, don't go south, Ned. And he said, okay. It was like, that was the end.
That was the end. This is really funny. HBO and the fans are saying, so how long do I have to look? As long as it pleases me. And then just like all the fucking shitty things that are going on with the show. Utterly pessimistic ending with no sense of satisfaction.
Pointless character progression.
Abandoned characters and plot lines. Broken logic. Like, that's, yeah.
I'm also disappointed that Cersei didn't have to deal with the White Walkers at all.
Yeah.
They give us a story from the North.
No.
A nonsense story.
I love this.
It's still nonsense to them.
It's a nonsense story.
This is it.
It's pretty hilarious.
This is hilarious, yeah.
Someone, are you a Game of Thrones fan? I'm something else now.
I like that one.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm something else now. I don't know what I am. It's pretty vague.
Something else.
I wouldn't say I'm a fan.
A watcher. I'm a Game of Thrones watcher.
God, how sad is it for everyone who named their daughter Daenerys or their dog Daenerys or whatever the fuck? Like, I'm sure they're just so bummed. Yeah, there's Akira's tweets about it being fucking shitty.
So many, like, Halloween costumes ruined, all of it.
Alan Griffith says, until last night, well, the season as a whole, really, I thought you'd had been a tad harsh on the TV show since it diverged from the books. No longer. The last 2 episodes have comfortably been the worst assassination of a TV show since Henry Winkler jumped a shark. And
it's a Happy Days reference for youngsters out there.
I've had a lot of people tweeting me saying, like, you were right.
Yeah.
I was mad at you. I didn't want to hear it.
Well, the thing is,
You're
like,
totally right.
This show blew up so much back in 2013, 14, and when we started doing rewinds and you started going from praising it and talking about how great the books were to, like, talking about the problems in the show. Oh, this isn't looking good. People didn't want to hear that at all for a couple of years.
No.
They were pissed.
They always shoot the messenger, dude. They always shoot the messenger, and that's fine. I've come to accept that. That's part of, like, the deal, you know.
Like the Page of Sword.
Give me the cookie ball and let me die. I like that one a lot. I thought that was pretty good.
Remember Robert Baratheon?
Yeah, I remember him. Gosh, remember that. Hello, my beautiful babies. It's finally here. My Blade Runner Rachel lewd photo set has arrived. So for all my Team 19 people on Patreon, you can check it out. Get the password. Blade Runner is a massively influential film. I think we can all agree upon that. And in it, Ridley Scott created an atmosphere that continues to inspire creatives like myself today. We had a lot of fun trying to capture the Blade Runner mood for this shoot. Personally, I've wanted to cosplay as Rachel partly because she's so underserviced, and partly because I want to explore the question, how am I the robot? As someone who has criticized others for being robotic, it was interesting for me to challenge myself to meditate upon how I may be just as mechanical. Like, what a twist! What if I were the robot this whole time? Now, because I adore all the ladies of Blade Runner so much, I'd really love to do all 3 female replicants. Because if you didn't know, Blade Runner takes place in 2019, and it's 2019 right now, so there's no time like the present, but it's a lot of time and work to get these just right. So I'm adding a cosplay goal on my Patreon. When we hit my I Love You 3,000 patrons goal, I promise to do photo sets of both Pris and Zora. I have wanted to dress up as Pris since I first saw this movie when I was a kid, but her character has been done so much that I've abstained, but no more! When we get 3,000 patrons, I plan to live my dreams and go out into the wilds of Chinatown to sneak some naughty shots under the cover of darkness and neon signs. Now, Zora is the one that got shot in the back running through glass. Earlier, when Deckard is at the snake pit, he watches her performance from the bar before finding her backstage. We never see her show in the film. Zora's unfilmed snake dance photo set that will absolutely involve me having to rent a live boa and hire a makeup artist to glue sequins all over my kitty body. I hope you guys enjoy this set. We are really proud of it and appreciate all of your support here on Patreon, and hope to bring you more sexy replicant shenanigans later this year.